I want this day to end because it's been long and you've done a nice job answering Mr. Eamon's questions. I just want to follow up on a couple things. I'm going to refer to the declaration of Kevin Padrick in response to the objection.
Can you give me 1 second?
Sure.
So I have it.
Okay. Oh, I'll give you back your...
Oh.
I have my own copy of the I'm only going to talk about the declaration.
Okay.
Just as a jumping off point. So, in connection with his response to your objection, the trustee filed a declaration which he signed under penalty of perjury, that it's true and correct. Some of this stuff we talked about today, but I just want to clarify a couple things. In paragraph 4 of Mr. Padrick's objection, he says that, quote, "Our investigation has revealed that Miss Studebaker-DeYoung directly benefited from her father's embezzlement through loans from Inland Capital Corp. Made to her directly for her personal use, to her CPA business, and to LLCs in which she holds, in which she held or holds a membership interest as follows." Now, I think that Mr. Eamon asked, and you clearly answered, questions related to any flow of inland funds in or out of the LLCs, so I don't think I need to address that again. In paragraph 4A, and now I'm paraphrasing, the trustee in his declaration says that you, Ms. Studebaker-DeYoung, received $57,000 and change from Inland as a loan to fund the purchase of the home in Bend. Now, we've talked about that before. Did you personally, in your name, take out a loan from Inland related to the purchase of the home in Bend?
No.
Who did take out that loan?
My dad, Mark Newman.
And when your dad told you that he was going to put a down payment down on a house for you, did he tell you what the source of the funds for that down payment was going to be?
No.
So you had no idea when he made that offer and then you guys made the deal where you would pay him back his down payment upon sale of the house. You had no idea from where that money was coming?
I had no idea. No, I had no idea where the money came from. I thought it came just from my dad. Okay,
so in your opinion, what the trustee says in his declaration, is it accurate or inaccurate?
It is inaccurate.
Okay. Now, in paragraph 4B, the trustee talks about you receiving $100,000 from Inland as a bridge loan to purchase residential property in Bend. Now, I think, based on today's testimony, what that really is referring to is Sun River?
Correct.
Okay. And Mr. Eamon asked you some questions about that, but he didn't fully flesh out the events, so I just want to do that. You testified to having received the $100,000 loan from Inland, right?
Yes.
What, did that loan get paid back?
Yes.
How did it get paid back?
By the lot loan I got from Umpqua Bank, and it was 45 days after I borrowed the loan from Inland. It was in a refinance.
So, the trustee states, well, strike that. So your testimony is that that $100,000 was paid off in full?
Yes.
Okay. In paragraph 4C refers to, of the declaration, refers to you receiving $9,500 from Inland in the form of 3 separate loans to help fund the startup of her accounting practice. We did talk about that earlier. Whatever happened with those loans?
Actually, Tonkin Torp, or David Almond had the information on the loan prior to Kevin making that declaration. It was one line of credit,
Okay.
not three separate loans. And it was a line, we had a line of credit up to $15,000. It was a year-long line of credit. We took 3 draws totaling $9,500, and we paid interest and a loan fee of $75 and paid it all off in 6 months. And it was not to me personally, it was to my accounting firm at the time, McGregor and Studebaker.
And your testimony is, I'm sorry, your testimony is that it was paid off in full?
Yes.
Okay. When you did accounting work for the various LLCs, as you testified to earlier, and you got paid for it, who was paying you? The LLC was paying you?
Yes.
Okay. Did you get paid by check?
Yes.
Okay. And so the LLC in question, for example, Klondike, you would invoice it for accounting services, and the LLC itself would pay you from a check?
From their accounts.
Okay.
Yes.
And is that generally the way that you were paid for the accounting work that you did for the various entities that Mr. Amon has been asking you about today?
Yes. I would bill the entity, and the entity would send a check.
Did you ever receive, you testified to having done tax returns for some Summit-related affiliates in other states. Those notwithstanding, did you ever receive checks or money in any other form directly from Summit for accounting services that you performed?
No.
Did you ever receive any money for any services that you performed for various people and entities from Inland?
No.
Okay. What is your understanding of the status of Inland in terms of who owns it now?
My understanding is that the liquidating trustee owns it. Or
Okay.
I think it was handed over to Kevin Patrick.
Okay. You testified earlier regarding money that was received by Century as a result of the sale of the tenancy in common interest to Mr. Hull, correct?
Correct.
And you further testified that certain members of that LLC took their distributions from that and paid it to Inland.
Correct.
But at the time that they paid it to Inland, did you know what they were doing with the money?
No.
So you didn't know that it was going back to Inland?
Well, when I came back from my vacation and finally got the copies of the checks, the ones written for Mark and for Brian were written to Inland. That's how I found out.
Okay. So what you're saying is you found out after it had occurred?
Correct.
Okay. Did you know that before it had occurred?
No.
Okay. Do you believe that the Century LLC has a claim against Inland for the money that it got as a result of those distributions and those transactions?
Yes.
Okay.